It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MW. Oh, and this is our WWE edition. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to cover all things SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. It was a busy week. We're on the road to WrestleMania. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, comment, or give those 5-star reviews. Ryan, my man, you ready to get this party started?
Let's do it, man. Let's go.
All right.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
All right, we got our WWE edition of Two Dudes with Attitudes about to kick into gear, and it was a jam-packed week. I mean, SmackDown had somebody important, Raw had somebody important on it. We had promo galores, we had promos that were bad. We had NXT with people defending 2 belts in one night. It's a pretty big week we got going on. Are you ready, Ryan? You ready to handle all of this?
I think so, man. Let's do it. Let's get into it. No time to waste. We're on the road to WrestleMania.
We are on the road to WrestleMania. Viva Las Vegas. And on SmackDown, speaking of, we got a new match. We're already just going to say it was announced on Raw, but we had the long-awaited, just kidding, that nobody ever wanted, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman, promo to end SmackDown. What did you think of it? Let's hear your take.
I dug it. I mean, anytime Roman Reigns is on the screen, I'm all for it. This is the first time we've had him cut a promo in quite a while, and it was nice to hear from him. And then, I like the interruption of Seth Rollins basically saying that you made the biggest mistake of your life, not letting me finish CM Punk when I could. The only thing I didn't like with Roman's promo was I kind of felt like he forgot how the Royal Rumble works, because he hasn't been in the Rumble in the last 5 years. So he kind of forgot how the Rumble worked, because he was like, oh, CM Punk screwed me in the Royal Rumble. Well, yeah, it's every man for himself. Like everyone, you got eliminated. Fair. He didn't do anything illegal. He eliminated you. But that was his whole MO, was CM Punk screwed me in the Royal Rumble, so I screwed him. Seth Rollins tried to kill me, but I tried to kill Seth Rollins. And and then Seth's promo was good. CM Punk came out, and he brought up the fact that that nobody has beaten, or neither one of them have beaten him without the other one's help, calling back to their Shield days, and talked about how he brought them into this world and he can't wait to take them out of it. It was just, there was a lot of good stuff in this promo. I'm just not excited for this match. I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like CM Punk, Seth Rollins was big enough for WrestleMania. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins was big enough for WrestleMania. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns is a huge match for WrestleMania. But Punk and Rome. Yeah,
you already said it. Yeah, they all.
Yeah. Did I say them all? Okay, I was like,
yeah, they all make sense individually. Yes,
individually. But now we're getting a triple threat. This just feels like a cop-out. It feels like, oh, we don't really have any creative plans for these guys, so let's just put them in the ring in a triple threat against each other. So it was a great segment. I just feel a little let down by the match.
Well, there's 2 possible triple threat matches, if not more, going into WrestleMania, and neither of them makes sense. It looks like it's just big stars being put together because they need something to do. Yeah. It shows how weird this one is, right? Because as you explained, Roman Punk makes sense. Punk Seth makes sense. Roman Seth makes sense. All 3 of them, it doesn't make sense. And they tried. And the thing with triple threat matches is that usually there's no story going into it, right? And that's why they suck, because it's always kind of like somebody gets thrown in. And right now I feel like, even though it makes sense individually, Seth is being thrown in. And the reason why, because once again, they brought up Paul Heyman. What the hell so unless Paul Heyman's going to do the ultimate swerve and join Seth Rollins and help him win that triple threat match and team up with him, there's literally no point for him to be included in this match, and Punk brought him up again. You still owe me my favor. Thanks for serving Roman Reigns on a silver platter. And Roman Reigns like, huh? Like a silver platter? Like he brought him to the ring. It's not like he brought him like a restaurant where he didn't know you were at, and then you like stabbed him in the neck. Like he brought him like that was a very weird. It was like the whole thing. I didn't mind the promos because it's 3 masterful promo, and talkers or whatever, but I just felt like it seemed forced. Like you said, you eliminated me from the Rumble. You tried to kill me. Well, he owes me a favor, and thanks for putting him on a silver platter. And then Seth says whatever he says, but it all just felt really forced, and it feels forced. And I don't know if the fans are going to turn on it or not. They liked it so far when it went on, but they're going to have to do a lot more than just CM Punk and Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Because Punk on Raw, which we're not going to talk about so we can bring it up, even he came and cut another promo and did the whole, hey, he's not just your wise man, wink, wink. You know what I mean? So he's still even bringing up the Paul Heyman thing. So with all of that said, it makes me think Paul Heyman is going to play a part. But if he doesn't side with Seth, then once again, why was Seth even added in? Seth could have wrestled anybody else. It does seem weird. I'm not against it. It's not like I'm not going to tune into WrestleMania now. But does it deserve to be night 1 main event? Because it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think it's a good way to open it. It depends, because it depends on what this stupid favor is, and I'm ready to be done with this favor storyline. And apparently, we're going to find out this Friday on SmackDown because they're having a contract signing for the triple threat. So if the favor is because CM Punk still hasn't gotten what he wants, and so he's going to allude to that, and that's what he's been talking about in his promo on Raw. So yeah, it all depends on this favor. If the favor is that if whoever wins gets to fight, it gets added to the gets added to the John Cena Cody Rhodes match somehow, some way, or something, which I don't think they should do that either. But then I think it main events night 1, but I don't think it should.
But see, I don't see how the favor can be Punk being added into Cena and Cody because
Paul Heyman can't make matches. Yeah,
no, he has no say. So what? I mean, I know he's close with Stephanie or whatever, but what is like? That doesn't make any sense at all. So
I know.
I mean, I'll let it cook. It's only been once. We're gonna get it on SmackDown. I already saw CM Punk trying to do the whole, part-time thing on Roman. Look, I'm here. We could have done it here, right? You guys are booing. No, they were booing because they didn't really like the idea of this match happening. I think was the booing.
Yeah, I think
Punk was smart to turn that against them. But nonetheless, I don't want to crap on it yet. But I'm not on the boat of like that's the match I'm looking forward to, because I'm not. I don't really.
Yeah, it just feels lazy and a cop out with the booking. So great segment. I'm just not looking forward to the future.
Agreed. But something I'm looking forward to. That's when Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out and basically begged for forgiveness. Wants to be friends. He's sorry that he did that to him, and Randy Orton was not buying that shit. He made a funny line where he says it's all about Kevin Owens fight. Nowadays, it's more about Kevin Owens bitch. It was good. They didn't lock horns or whatever, but this might be right now currently, if I'm really looking at it, this might be the match I'm most looking forward to. And it'll probably go on like number 3 or 4 on one of the nights. Hopefully it should open up night 1 or night 2. But there's other title matches that I think might, women's and men's. But it's really, really, I'm just excited about it, and how Sami Zayn's probably going to play a part in it, or maybe other people that Kevin Owens has beaten up along the way. But nonetheless, good promo from both men. Randy, man, he's still good on the promo. He looks phenomenal. Kevin Owens can hang with everybody. It's got masterpiece written all over it.
Yeah, and this story has been built beautifully. I mean, this something that happened Kevin Owens hit Randy Orton with a pile driver in like December, January, and it kept him off TV for a long, long time. He missed the Rumble. He came back at Elimination Chamber. So I think this has probably been the best built match going into WrestleMania. And Kevin Owens, like you said, he can hang with anybody. Randy Orton, he's still fantastic on the mic. He said that he vows to kick Kevin Owens' head in. So I'm excited to see the punt brought back into this match at WrestleMania with with Kevin Owens doing the pile driver, the 2 forbidden moves, which, you know, I can't wait. So yeah, this match is going to be off the chains, and I love how they're building up to it. And yeah, both of these guys are awesome.
They are, and we finally got the full Naomi heel turn. Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill's first match and singles match, and I don't even remember how long. Liv got the dub. What do you think about this match, and what do you think about the Naomi stuff going forward?
Yeah, I was surprised that Liv Morgan got. I mean, I wasn't surprised that Liv Morgan got the dub, but I was surprised that Jade Cargill took the loss, because this is her first singles loss in a long time, probably since Chris Statlander in AEW. So
I was about to say, right?
So yeah, I no longer think Bianca Belair is involved. I've changed my mindset on that. I still think she's going to lean towards the heel side and the darker side. But yeah, I mean, this was a great way to build Naomi as a heel. And yeah, I mean, she got that heat. She came in, she put a beat down on Jade Cargill. I loved it. And then she ran out of the ring, and it was done well. And this is another story that the WWE, you know, we allowed them to cook it, and they've delivered it pretty nicely so far. You know, a lot of twists and turns and everything. So I'm excited to see what's next. This segment made me excited for the possibilities of this match happening at WrestleMania, and that's what you want in a segment.
Yeah, this is one of the other few matches I'm excited about, and Naomi looked good. That shot of her from Jade's view, where she was just standing there, like on the other side of the ring apron, just looking like pissed off, and I was like, okay, finally, this is what we need from Bianca too. But I'm like, finally, you're no longer that like glow, cheery, like being a villain, and she's got it. She's got the body type to put beatdowns on people and look vicious. I loved it. Liv Morgan, you're talking about her beating Jade Cargill. Have you seen, like, somebody posted about Liv Morgan's like resume of who she's beaten like this year or in the past like 6 months or whatever, and she has like the most stacked resume of the female wrestlers she has beaten in her time. It's one of a kind. And Liv, I mean, she's obviously gorgeous, right? And that's why she's so popular, but not just but it's also her personality, her promos, her in-ring ability. Did you see the picture that they had of her, the Mona Liva or whatever, Mona Liva, whatever they called it. Yeah, super cool. They even brought her backstage and took pictures. I mean, that's how over she is, man. It's just really nice to see. Yeah. I'm proud of Liv Morgan, man. She's been still the MVP in the women's division, in my opinion.
Absolutely. She's carrying that division, and yeah, she's doing great things. I just wish we had a clear plan for her going into WrestleMania. It feels like she's kind of all over the place at the moment.
Well, we might now. You know, we'll see with Bailey. So we'll see what's going on with that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's end our SmackDown with the most awkward segment in this year, possibly. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair had a backstage sit down. What did you think about it?
So we talked about this offline, but I feel like this was the John Cena effect to the T. Just Charlotte Flair playing the role of old school John Cena, where he just would verbally obliterate people on the microphone. And no repercussions for it. There's going to be no backlash for it or anything like that. And that's what this segment was for me. It was Charlotte Flair completely destroyed Tiffany Stratton in every sense of the way. She interrupted her when, you know, Joe Tessitore asked Tiffany Stratton the very first question, and Charlotte said, "Excuse me, the Queen speaks first." And then she just completely buried her and said, you know, even Tiffany Stratton just looked like she didn't know what to do. And she was like, "Well, I used to look up to you, and then we got into the ring together, and I saw the person that you really were." And Charlotte Flair was like, "Oh, boo-hoo, I almost shed it." It was just, she just completely obliterated her. And it makes me wonder, like, I was convinced that Tiffany Stratton was going to beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, but after watching this, I'm now convinced that Charlotte Flair is going to beat Tiffany Stratton. They're going to take that belt off of her, because I don't know. This was just not a good night for Tiffany.
Yeah, it really wasn't. And I saw a lot of people saying that there's levels to this, and that's why Charlotte is so out of her league. But no, if you listen to any true big wrestler, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, whoever that's been in the game forever, Ric Flair, Sting, they talk about what makes you what makes you a legend is how you make the other person look. It's not about anyone can make themselves look good in a WWE ring on a promo. It's about how you make the other person look. If both of you are coming out looking better, that's what makes a true legend. That's somebody who carries you and so on and so on. Charlotte Flair struggled, and that's why I was never a John Cena fan, because John Cena never does that well, and he never could. He was good at getting himself over. He was never good at getting other people over. And if you want to try to hit me up on it, hit me up on it.
And that's what this was.
I want to see receipts. That's what this was. This was her just Charlotte Flair. But that's what makes me think she is going to lose, because I think she's like, well, if I'm losing, I'm going to go out and there have been people, Becky Lynch, who have come out and stated that she's bitter like that. So it's not like I'm making this up or I heard it from, Sean Ross Stupid or anybody. This is like real, like pro wrestlers talking about it. But it was okay for a second, and then Charlotte just got it off the rails. And I wasn't sure actually if it was all just Charlotte Flair not knowing what she was doing and trying to be the bully, or was it like they were off on timing? You know what I mean? Like, when you do like First Take and Stephen A. Smith's talking, and then it takes like a second, and then the guy starts talking, and the other guy jumps in because they're like delayed in their headphones. I wasn't sure if that was the problem, because it seemed like a couple times they stopped, and then Charlotte Flair kind of was like, okay, it's dead time. Let me just like talk. And then Tiffany would talk, and then Tiffany would shut up because she's probably like, you're leading. And then Charlotte would hit her hard with something, because she repeated her once where she made a comment to her, and then Tiffany was like not saying anything, and then Charlotte hit her up with it again. And then Tiffany was like, oh, I'm blah, 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 blah. But nonetheless, it didn't work. It was awkward. And this match was a match that people were super stoked about at first. And this is now one of the most least matches people are excited to see. And what does that say about Charlotte? I've always said, I respect Charlotte. I think she's great. But I think she's one of the few wrestlers, and John Cena is the other one, where the belt made them. They didn't make the belt made them. And without the belt, they're pretty much lost.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And this was just not. I hope that Tiffany Stratton can recover from this, and that's the one thing I'm worried about, is that she's not going to be able to regroup and bounce back. And that's the other thing that the John Cena effect played. When he buried Austin Theory on the microphone, Austin Theory hasn't been the same since.
Nope.
Even though he got the win over him at WrestleMania, his title reign, the U.S. title reign, was never the same after that. I worry about that with Tiffany Stratton going forward too.
Which would suck, because she is a talent. And speaking of the male Charlotte Flair, let's get into some Raw, because your boy John Cena was at it again. He cut promo and Cody Rhodes came out and said a little bit more. They had a moment. I'll get your take at this time, and let's see if we agree or disagree. We disagreed last time. Let's see how we feel this time. Go ahead.
So last week, I came on here and I said I did not like John Cena's initial heel promo that he cut for round one. And after watching I put a video on TikTok, and everyone was like, wait until next week. They can't give it to you all up front. You got to wait until next week. So I watched this week, and I stand by everything I said last week. This was not good at all. This was bad. John Cena just completely regurgitated everything he said last week. I mean, he said a little bit more this time. He said that he was going to win number 17. He was going to ruin wrestling for all of us and retire with the title, and he would retire as WWE champion. And Cody Rhodes came out at like the wrong time, and he's doing his little, his entrance, and he's cutting promos. It was just, the WWE has completely lost the plot on this story, in my opinion, because we still don't know why John Cena, the story coming out of Elimination Chamber was never, OMG, John Cena just turned heel. The story coming out of Elimination Chamber was, OMG, John Cena sold his soul to The Rock, turning heel in the process. And here we are, week 2, 23 days after the turn at Elimination Chamber, and we still have no answers, no mention of The Rock, no nothing going forward. And now next week they're doing it all over again for round 3, and I highly anticipate more of the same, where he's verbally assaulting the fans. And then there's a report that he's not making any more appearances until WrestleMania. So now that means Cody Rhodes is going to have to carry the feud, or maybe that's when we get The Rock somehow involved. I don't know. But this was just, I didn't like this at all. It was just a regurgitation of last week, and I feel like the WWE has just lost the plot entirely in this story.
I don't think they had one. So when this happened, I made a video and I had to delete it because people said I was too aggressive with it. But I talked about how it was so stupid and how if you were enjoying it, you were a moron as well because this was a stupid turn. It was forced and people were like, well, so then I made a nicer one where I said the same thing, just in kinder ways, that this was a forced turn. It was all to get a pop, just to get the shock value. And people said how stupid I was again. Okay, so call me stupid now because it looks like they had no purpose or what they wanted to do. And to me, it looks like they did this just because they really didn't know what they wanted to do with Cody Rhodes probably. And maybe they didn't want to go the path of the Roman thing again. So they went ahead and just threw John Cena in it. And I feel like John Cena is going to lose. The Rock's going to beat him down afterwards. And then John Cena is going to have his baby face end to his run. This seems 100% pointless at the moment. And that's nothing on John. John cut another good promo. I thought
it was a great promo. Yeah,
it was good stuff, but because I had a spinner belt and you guys called it a toy, because you guys said you couldn't see me, that's why he's going to ruin wrestling there's no real value into why he's peed off and why he's doing what he's doing. And if rumor has it that he isn't going to be back until, maybe a week before Mania or whatever, that's even worse because nobody's going to. Cody is not. The one thing I noticed when we go back and look at like those big moments, right, where you had like The Rock and Hogan, right? That felt epic. When we had The Rock and Cena, that felt epic, right? That felt like a moment that you didn't even need to talk. I was at Rock and Hogan. You didn't need to talk. They just stared at each other and it was, getting cheers, excuse me, out the wazoo. You know what I mean? Cody and Cena hasn't felt like that. And when I was watching this and when Cody came out, I was like, this is just making me feel like we're pushing Cody way too soon. I get you had him beat Roman, but what did he really do after that? He had a very lackluster title run. I don't think Cody is this generational champion that the WWE and Triple H think he is. And that's not a knock on Cody. I just think he came from AEW, which people didn't watch. Then he came over and he got like the rub, but then he lost. And that was their way of getting it to make him feel even better when he won. And it hasn't felt that way because they haven't done it. He just doesn't feel like that. I don't think we're going to be like, Andre, Hogan, Austin, Rock, Cena, Cody. I don't see that. I never saw it with Cena, to be honest with you. And obviously I was wrong, I guess. I still don't put Cena in that level. Some people do, but I don't think Cody's even on that level, right? It just didn't feel. That's what I got out of all this. I was watching it all like, eh. And my thing is, they made two mistakes. One, they shouldn't have turned Cena out of nowhere. I think it was a bad mistake. But two, he was already making a movie in Europe or wherever they are, and that's why they made this tour for that reason, right? So they toured for him so he can do these promos, and these crowds aren't it. Imagine they're still cheering him. And why are they cheering him, Ryan? Because they don't get to see John Cena ever, and this is his last run. So they're not going to boo him. He's not even getting heat. People were saying this was a Hogan turn. Are you kidding me? Hogan couldn't go into a freaking arenas without being almost attacked. People were running into rings to fight these people. No one gives two. They are chanting for Cena. It's like the same thing, except now he has a mean face. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. It's not Cena. It's not Cody. It's that this was forced, and Cody's not that guy. This isn't getting, and it wasn't in the States. If they would have done that heel turn at MSG, which they had a week before, and Cena already turned, imagine that. New York would have ate him alive, and it would have felt so much bigger. But I think with no Rock, with Cody, it just isn't working. And that's not a knock, and I'm not saying I don't want to see the match. I just feel like this isn't, it's what I said. It was forced. It shouldn't have happened. That's just,
That's how I feel. This week felt really, really forced. Last week felt more natural with him just going at the fans and chastising them. This week it felt more forced. Like, oh, I'm going to ruin wrestling and I'm going to retire as the last true champion because you guys are going to say what? And like, it was just very, really forced. And then Cody Rhodes, the thing about Cody, this man beat you down with your dad's watch. This man beat you down with the WWE Championship. This man, or Travis Scott, whoever, we don't really, gave you a black eye at the Elimination Chamber. And you come back 2 weeks in a row now and you haven't gotten physical with him. Like, you're coming out and you're like, I want to hear what you have to say. Like, no, like you need to be like, you need to be the aggressor and you need to go out there and try to kick his ass and try to fight him. Instead, he's over here high-fiving with the crowds. He makes these weird facial expressions before he says anything. And then he puts the belt down and takes his title. He takes his shirt off and he's like, let's fight John. And John walks out. We got to get to the point. We got to get to either The Rock's involvement or we got to have them go back and forth with each other, but doing the exact same thing 2 weeks in a row, just they've lost it, man, big time.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Well, let's get into another main event for a title that seems a little bit lost, and that's one Jey Uso versus Gunther. They had the Usos return for a tag match. They won. They beat A-Town Down Under. I don't even know why they exist anymore. And then backstage, Jimmy was telling Jey, bro, what I said, you need to stop with this stuff. You need to be main event Jey, the right-hand man. You need to be that dude. Jimmy saw Gunther walk by, so he said, I'll be right back. And holy cow, did he slap the shit out of him. Gunther's the man.
He sure did.
He was like, Jimmy, slap me. I don't care. And Jimmy was like, you sure, dude? He was like, slap me. And that was like, because he could have slapped him that hard, it didn't work. It was like the perfect, like when you try to high five and it doesn't work, and then but you have that magical high five moment where it's just so loud. That's what that slap was. It echoed perfectly. Holy cow. But why are we adding Jimmy into this? What is going on? But nonetheless, at least it's adding a little bit of an intrigue. I guess Jimmy and Gunther will wrestle next Monday Night Raw, but there's got to be more to it. What'd you think? Did you like all this? Did you like the slap heard around the world?
I thought the slap was really good. I thought the best part was Gunther smiled afterwards, like, okay,
yeah,
all right, I see you, bro. Like, so I like that part. I feel like the WWE did a smart thing, and they took Jay's quote unquote botches and turned it into a storyline, turned it into an angle. And, that's why he couldn't do the over the top rope dive last week. And this week he slipped before he tried to hit the spear. And, I think they did a smart thing, turning that into a story that Gunther's getting into his head and he's not the same guy. So I like that they added Jimmy Uso. And I think Jimmy Uso is going to be the reason that we get the real Jey Uso back next week. I think Gunther's going to beat Jimmy down to a pulp, to the point where Jay's going to have to come out, and we're going to get that CM Punk, Seth Rollins pull-apart brawl that we got a couple weeks ago, this time with Gunther and Jey. So I like the idea of adding Jimmy to the story, just to mix things up and get back and get like this, and then we are confident to do so going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and we need that Jey. So that Jey needs to get fired up. He can still yeet here and there when he comes out, but he needs to stop with the constant yeeting of it. He needs to be a real deal. And to beat Gunther, someone of that intensity, you need to have intensity to match it up. So yeah, your Wi-Fi is a little funky, Ryan. All right. We gotta,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
See if I can fix it real quick.
All right. Well, as you do it, I will introduce the returning, the long-awaited, the legend, hailing from the Gulf of America, one El Grande Americano. El Grande Americano made his long-awaited return, and now on the big stage of WWE, where he wrestled one Dragon Lee, unmasked that fool, tapped him out. He could not handle the power of the Gulf of America. What did you think of the return of El Grande Americano?
I don't know where all these rumors are coming from that was Chad Gable. He clearly had a doctor's note and he was unable to compete. I mean, and Adam Pearce even said, this is legit, guys. So there's rumors out there that it's Chad Gable under that mask, and I'm 100% convinced that it is not. And they did a video package, and they talked about where he came from. He's from the Gulf of America, apparently. So So they used artificial intelligence, images and everything to kind of go through his history. So it was a very well done vignette by the WWE. But whatever they're doing with this story, all jokes aside, I don't mind it so much. It's giving them, it's adding some lightheartedness to the show. It's bringing some attention. It's giving Ray something to do. It's giving the Dragon Lee. It's giving him something to do, and it's giving whoever's under that mask something to do. So yeah, I'm digging it. I dug it this week. I don't want them to do the reveal too soon. I don't want to find out next week who's under it. I want them to reveal it at Mania or even after Mania, or just keep this gimmick going. I'm kind of digging it.
Oh, this is going to go a little bit, and you got to give props, man. And like in an hour span, we had a luchador, a luchador, a luchador, a luchador. And yes, I'm calling El Grande Americano a luchador, but there's like so many men in masks. Who doesn't love luchadors? One of the best parts about WCW, yes, the NWO was a vibe and so on, but everyone loved the luchadors, man. It was the Rey Mysterios. It was the lighter, the cruiserweights and so on. This is like what people want to see, and it's not all AEW'd out. It's the WWE version of these luchadors. I loved it, man. I love seeing it all. I love the unmasking and so on, and I think it will go to Mania. It'll probably end at Mania, but the only problem is like what happened to Chad Gable and his crew. You know what I mean? Is El Grande Americano going to kill that? I want to see both of them. You know what I mean? I want to see El Grande Americano wrestle and Chad Gable wrestle on the same Monday Night Raw. You know what I mean? I want to see the alpha, males still doing their damn thing while El Grande Americano is doing his thing. You know what I mean? I want to see both happen. Let's make this fun.
Yeah, and the WWE, they've done this. This story reminds me of the Elias and Ezekiel storyline that with KO, where he was clearly Elias. No, I'm not. I'm his younger brother. And Kevin Owens made that great. I feel like all the parties involved in this angle can make this great, and we can have something a little similar. Like you said, have Chad Gable wrestle on the open Monday Night Raw, and have El Grande Americano wrestle in the middle part of Monday Night Raw. And clearly, they're not the same person. Let's keep this fun. It's something fun to get us excited about and get us talking about.
I agree. All right, something we're not excited about, and something I thought I knew where it was going. Now I'm kind of confused, but maybe it's still going the same way. I'll let you start off, but IYO SKY, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair had their third straight segment in a row that was exactly the same thing. They bicker, they shove IYO like she's a child, and nothing happens. So what did you think, and what do you think is going to happen?
Man, the booking to this match has been completely atrocious. It has been god-awful. Ever since Rhea lost the title, it makes me feel like Rhea never should have lost the title. The way they're treating IYO SKY, pushing her around like she's a child, that they should have just had it be Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. But again, we were in the shock you era of Triple H's regime, and we had to put the belt on IYO SKY, and now we don't have a plan, so now let's throw three really over women into three baby faces too, into a triple threat match at WrestleMania, which is what it's looking like. But the Rhea Ripley is coming across looking like a big old crybaby in this whole story, and she lost the title, and then she did like a backstage interview where she was like, I don't blame Bianca Belair, and I blame myself. I shouldn't have gone over to her. And then the very next week she's cutting a promo. Why were you out here? You should have never been out here, like making excuses. And then this week, then she signed the contract last week, and now this week she's coming out and being like, I'm not leaving until I get my rematch. And Adam Pearce is like, I've been trying to talk to you about this for the last 6 weeks. It's just made her look like a complete crybaby and an idiot. And then Bianca's looking, they were booing Bianca too. So she was getting the heel heat, which they need to turn her already. Yeah. But this whole story, it's all going to turn into a triple threat. And now Rhea Ripley's wrestling IYO SKY next week for the title, and the winner faces Bianca at WrestleMania. It's going to be a triple threat, but this was just a weird way to get there.
I love the AEW booking on that. We just made fun of it about how two guys the champion had to wrestle somebody to face Kenny Omega. Now we're getting the champion having to wrestle to see who faces Bianca Belair. Like, what the are we doing here? Obviously, Bianca's going to cheat, not count the match, and we're getting a triple threat. So let's just move that out of the way. But I don't like it at all. And the thing is, if you didn't want to turn Bianca and have her be a part of this Naomi thing, which they should have done, what did you think was going to happen? The crowd has to boo somebody. They're not going to cheer all three people. So IYO SKY is not going to get booed because she's the underdog and she's getting bullied in your way. Rhea Ripley will not get booed. She didn't get booed with Dominic Mysterio. She ain't getting booed when she doesn't have him. And then Bianca, that's the only one, right? Because people are tired of her. I'm sorry, I'm not the only one who thinks she needs a heel turn. So they're booing her. And it's like, if you knew she was going to get booed anyway, why not just heel turn her? It's really weird. It's another triple threat, like I said, that it's 3 names who are all phenomenal talent and great at what they do, but why are they being put together? It just doesn't work. It's just a random mashup, and that's what we don't do. WrestleMania is the end of the build of the season. It's the season finale. It's what you look forward to. So WrestleMania needs to be the matches that have been being built up throughout the year, not the matches that we're just throwing together a month before because Triple H doesn't have any other ideas. And that's what's kind of hurting, this and the other triple threat. So we'll see. They can still get me into it, but I don't see how. I really don't. And I don't like the bullying of IYO SKY at all.
Yeah, they're making her look like a chump, and I don't like that at all. Why put the belt on her if you're just going to treat her the way you're treating her? So, I'm not feeling this at all. This booking has been god-awful.
It has. All right, let's get into some NXT. And let's start off with your boy from AEW, Ricky Saints. He had a sit-down interview where the guy didn't do that great at it, and then he was interrupted. What did you think of this interview and the future of one Ricky Saints?
I still have high hopes. Obviously, they're treating him like he's a big deal in AEW in NXT, and
it's weird you messed that up.
But this promo, this interview was it wasn't done very well at all. It was the questions were bad. His responses felt forced, and then Sean Spears interrupting and basically 2 ex-AEW guys in the same room. The way he treated Vic Joseph and Vic, hey, I'm trying to do an interview here, and he turns his chair and he just leaves. And then Ricky Saints just did not look good in this interview. It was another awkward moment. They were talking. It was like they were talking about AEW, but they couldn't say AEW. I know where you came from. I've given you advice after advice over what you should do, and here you are, and you can always go back. Oh, no, you can't. You burned your bridge. And then Ricky Saints was like, yeah, well, your group is the only reason why you won that title, and then I'm going to be the only reason why you don't have that. It was just a very awkward angle to end in the middle of the show. And then he interrupted Ethan Page to little to no reaction from the crowd. That was weird too, when Ethan Page was coming out to make his entrance and then just to do commentary. So it was just not a good night for Ricky Saints, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know why they think, once again, people don't watch AEW who watch WWE.
No.
So I don't know, for the majority, they don't. And so why are you trying to interpret that and bring back storylines from it and talk about it and have them all wrestle each other? I was okay with the dudes in the locker room comparing the Chase Uga dudes, comparing Ricky Saints to Ethan Page, but Ethan Page was a winner. He came, he conquered, he won the title, had a good reign, still having a good run. But Ricky Saints, it was very awkward. And now he has a title match next week. He ain't going to win that.
Yeah.
They just put it on Sean Spears. So they're going to have him lose or not win his first title match right off the, why rush that? Why not build it to stand and deliver and then have him beat Sean Spears? It's just really, really, HBK usually cooks. This was one of the parts he wasn't cooking at.
And like you said about people don't watch AEW, I don't know if you heard, we didn't talk about CM Punk's promo on Raw, but he made a reference to AEW with his Brawl Out press conference, and he said that the more things stay the same, or the more things change, the more things stay the same. And I work with children, and there was no reaction from the crowd at all. So
I'm telling you,
like you were saying, people that watch WWE don't watch AEW.
Where were they? They were in Italy, right? Where were they on Raw?
Where were they? Yeah, I think so. Italy.
I forget where they were. SmackDown, Raw. Yeah. Do you think people in Italy get AEW? Like just because they have Max now? Like no one's watching AEW in Italy.
Scotland.
And that's not a knock. Oh, Scotland. Even there. And that's not a knock on AEW. They just aren't that big yet. Just is what it is. Another booking that we were kind of confused about, and I want to see if you like it now or don't, but Stephanie Vaquer did double duty. She defended her titles in a weird order. I don't know why she defended the championship title first, then the secondary title second. But it is what it is. But she opened and closed the show. We had a lot of Stephanie Vicaire. The women are all blah, 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 and Ava has no idea what to do. What did you think of it? Are you digging it? Do you think they can keep doing this? Is she going to double duty at Stand and Deliver? What say you?
Yeah, I like this whole segment, or I like the fact that she pulled double duty, and it made it more interesting than ever before. Who's going to stand up and dethrone her? I like the match with Jada Parker. I like the main event match. Everything was fun with Stephanie Vicaire, and she is super over, and the crowd loves her. So I think they're going to keep doing this, and they should. I think this was the highlight of the show for me, and then seeing like Jordan Grace come out and interfere not once but twice, trying basically shooting her shot for the title, and then you still have that whole thing with Jada Parker, and now you have all the other women bickering backstage, and Ava has to figure everything out as to what she's going to do. This is NXT has the best women's division in the WWE right now, and we're about to see how deep this women's division can be with Vicaire having both belts, because you saw there were a lot of women back there bickering with Ava. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. I like how they did it.
And none of them are Sol Ruka. Yeah, my biggest problem is if you're gonna have somebody hold both titles, you're gonna hold the division up. But obviously they aren't. They're gonna have her defend both. So I am good with it. It makes her become a star. They claim she was the only person ever to defend 2 titles in the same day or the same night or whatever. It was good stuff. I enjoyed it. My thing is, once again, is that when she loses the NXT North American title, that person's gonna be like, "Yo, what? I should be the world champion." It's just weird to defend just one belt.
Yeah.
If you're the champion, you should defend both at all times. I don't, but then that holds it up. So I'm still iffy about it, but I did like it. I like the presentation they went, and it looks like it's not going to hold up the division because these women wanted to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. Ava saying I need to figure it out makes me think they might strip her of the North American title, but we'll see. We'll see.
Or they'll do like a battle royal with all the women, and whoever wins fights her at Stand and Deliver or something. Yeah. I can see that too.
But but nonetheless, good stuff, and I'm okay with it if she's going to do double duty, and she can pull it off. But yeah, she is a star. I think it's because that move she does makes people really like her. I mean, be honest with you. I mean, it's a bunch of men in there. She wrestles in a thong basically, which is like insane. Yeah. But she's got skills and talent, and if anyone can do it, it's her. All right, that was our weekend review of the WWE. We got a lot more to go. I think they said about 3 weeks until WrestleMania. So we're going to start getting a lot more. We probably got 1 week coming up of like nothing happening, and then 2 weeks of a lot of stuff happening. So we'll see what happens. They usually have to have like a dumbed down week, and they don't want people to get hurt and injured. So we're eventually going to get a week of nothing, but I'm excited for the push and the road. And hopefully some of these things change that aren't working too right. Cena, Cody, the couple triple threat matches, we got to put some work into it. So
yeah, I'm curious to hear what this favor is and what Paul Heyman's factor is into this Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns triple threat. So we'll find out.
It's got to be something good. All right, we're getting in our segment. It's a little true or false. We have a song for it.
No songs.
No songs. So it's true or false. Let's go. All right. So true or false. We're going to each ask each other 2 different things, and we will say if it is true or false. As always, Ryan goes first. What do you got for me?
All right. So Trick Williams, our boy Trick Williams, Trick Willie, whoop that trick. He will be revealed as the leader of this new Dark State faction in NXT and turn heel, but winning the title at Stand and Deliver.
True.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
I like that a lot, actually. I didn't even think that did they say they had a leader that they didn't have? I mean,
they haven't really said anything, but if you've noticed, they never attack Trick. Like every time, like they've attacked Oba, they've attacked Javion, they've attacked everybody else. They attacked Tony D'Angelo. They've never attacked Trick. And so it makes, there's a lot of internet fodder going around, the internet conspiracy theories that Trick is the ringleader behind this group, and he's going to be revealed as the leader.
I like it. I
wouldn't mind that. I mean, too.
he has, and it keeps him in NXT. Maybe they're not ready for him to go to the big stage because they don't have anywhere for him, and he doesn't deserve that like they did Carmelo Hayes, who I don't even know what happened to him. But yeah, so I'm all for that. I think that would be fun, and I'd like to see him a leader. That's how factions usually work, right? They come in and there's one big mastermind who's already over. So, and I wouldn't mind him beating Oba and becoming champ again. Whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, I like
Williams
it.
As champ. Yeah, sign me up.
Too bad the Dark State haven't attacked anybody recently. Now they just come out and stand there and stare at them. While they watch
promos
fight.
on X. Yeah.
Yeah. I always love that. Like, why couldn't you have somebody interview them backstage? Why does this have to be on X? All right. You ready? I got an easy one. I got a WrestleMania one for you.
All right. Go for it.
Your boy, the Yeet Master, Jey Uso, will lose at WrestleMania to Gunther.
Oh, it's true.
I think he is. I think he might be losing. And because Gunther, I feel like WWE is in a damned if they do, damned if they don't spot with this match because, you know, you can't be main event Jey Uso anymore if he continuously loses in the main event and continuously loses the WWE World Heavyweight Championship opportunities. And he is, 0-3 now against Gunther, even though he said this week he was 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, he's 0-3.
He's been flubbing, man. He hasn't had a good run since
Rumble. He really hasn't. And I'm wondering if they're starting to see that, and that's why they brought Jimmy in. They turned his flubs into a story. But also, Gunther just lost at WrestleMania last year to Sami Zayn. So are we really going to have him lose 2 WrestleManias in a row? I think Jey should ultimately dethrone Gunther, but I don't think it should happen at WrestleMania. I think it should happen later on down the road, based on everything I've seen. So I'm going to say it's true that Gunther retains at Mania.
Yeah, I'm going to say true as well. I just don't.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
The sad part is that I think it's what he's been given, because when he was going at Roman and he was having that solo run, being the right-hand man, and I think that's why he brought it up. Jimmy brought that up to be that guy again. He wasn't flubbing lines and having bad matches. He was on point. Was great. I think it's just because the story was stupid. I think, once again, the Royal Rumble was a last-second decision that they were just like, oh, let's just give it to Jey for shock value. And they had no idea, because when you look at Triple H's bookings, the ones that work are built up. They got stories, and the ones that don't work are always the ones that we think were just put together randomly. And I think people are right when it says it's getting put together randomly. This is another one. So yeah. I think I just don't think the fans are going to react as well. I don't think they're as behind Jey Uso right now. I get it. He gets yeeted. But other than that, who's really over here rooting for Jey Uso? And that's not me knocking Jey Uso, because I've been down since day one-ish. I just don't think they got to do something in the next 3 weeks if they're hoping he will beat Gunther at WrestleMania. So,
yeah, that's why I'm hoping Jimmy breathes some life into this and we get old school Jey Uso back next week, right-hand man or something. But right now, Gunther should retain.
I agree. All right, what's next?
All right. Let's do. We talked about that one. Talked about this one. All right, we'll do. All right, here you go. The WWE is completely done with the Wyatt Six, and we will never see them again on television. We haven't seen them in a long time. They brought Alexa Bliss back. They haven't used her at all.
So you're saying they're done, right? That's what you're saying, that they are done. I'm gonna say true. I'm gonna say true.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Because rumor has it that Alexa Bliss has nothing to do for Mania. She has nothing to do. And why do they keep doing that to Alexa Bliss? I don't know if it's her fault, or is she like coming back and saying, I only want to be this character? And then they're like, well, we don't have anything for this. And it's like, because this is like her third time now. It's like the third time where they've brought her back, and then she just falls off the face of the earth. Like, what? Her reactions were great. We thought she was going to win Elimination Chamber. Like, I don't know what we're doing here, but I don't think they should bring back the Wyatt Six.
No,
they're going to get a pop night one, and then that's it. I don't think people care anymore. We moved past it when the late great Bray passed away. It isn't working. We need to just be done with it. Move on. And we've been saying this for a while now. Move on.
Yeah, and it just feels like ever since they lost to Karrion Kross and his group, and since then AOP's been released, and we haven't seen anything from. Apparently one of them's hurt, but you can't do like backstage vignettes. You can't do anything with that. And and like I said earlier, when we were talking about Liv Morgan, I thought the plan going into WrestleMania was Liv and Raquel for the tag titles against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. But now it's looking like it's going to be Bayley involved with Lyra Valkyria. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I think the Wyatt Six are done. I don't care to see him again. We don't need to see him.
I agree. All right. So I know we're going to talk about this tomorrow on AEW, but true or false, Paige will return to the WWE since she was just released by AEW.
I was going to ask you that one too.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yeah, I think she will. They're bringing back the Evolution pay-per-view, the women's only pay-per-view, allegedly, or rumor has it. So I think that would be a good spot for her. The Raw after WrestleMania could be a good spot for her to come back. They are in London next week, and she's from London, so maybe she comes back next week. As soon, I don't know if she has like a non-compete or the 90-day thing. That I don't know if AEW does that, but yeah, I think she's totally coming back to WWE. She did an interview, when she announced that she was leaving AEW, she said it was amicable and that she wishes nothing but the best. But then I think she was on Busted Open, and they said, "Were you happy in your time in AEW?" And she really kind of dodged the question. And I think she feels she has more to offer, but she also said she wants to take time away from the wrestling business. So I think she'll ultimately come back to the WWE. It's just a matter of when and not if.
I think she'll come back. I think it's true. She didn't leave on a bad note. It was because her neck, and WWE's weird with that, like with Kurt and other people. Once they think you're injured, they don't want to like mess with that. But she showed that she can still wrestle. If you've seen her lately, I mean, she's always hot, but she's like in the best shape of her life. She is like in fit condition. It looks like she's ready to go. So it might not be now, but I think, and she never said bad things about WWE. Whenever they interviewed her, she wasn't one of those people who switched over, like Swerve and stuff, who just like talk down and belittle the WWE. She never did that. She always said she was happy there and so on. I mean, of course she was. You saw what she did backstage. So, I mean, she must have been happy. But like, I mean, it's bump, bump, bump. But yeah, I think she'll come back. I think she should. She deserves it. And it'd be nice because I think she's a Hall of Famer as well. So it's good to see her come back and do that.
Yeah, and I think I think she needs to end her career. She didn't end her career in the WWE in the highest of notes with all the personal stuff that went on, her relationship with Alberto Del Rio, who's now like beating up fans in Mexico. I don't know if you saw that, but So yeah, I think she's gonna go similar to the CM Punk route, where he didn't end on the best of terms with WWE, and now he's gonna end his terms. He's going to end his career on really high terms with WWE. I think the same thing with Saraya or Paige. I think she's going to end her career the way that it should have ended a long time ago.
I agree. All right. That's our true or false. Now it's time to get into our weekly segment where we do our LVD and MVD, which is the least valuable or most valuable dude or dudette for this week. It's not that we love or hate these people. It's just we think they were the best booked or the most poorly booked of this current week of WWE. You'll start off. Who's your least valuable dude or dudette of the week?
I am going dude, and I am going with the man who runs the show himself, and that's Triple H. I'm doing it, man. We have 2 triple threat matches at WrestleMania because you have no other plans for Roman. Roman Reigns you don't have a plan for Roman at WrestleMania. You don't have a plan for CM Punk at WrestleMania, so you don't have a plan for Seth Rollins, so you put him in a triple threat with nothing on the line. And then the women's match, the Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and IYO SKY, you're putting them in a match against each other because you have no plan, and you had IYO SKY win the title as a shock value thing and with no other plan otherwise. You brought back Alexa Bliss, and you don't have a plan for her? Come on now. And then you brought in these mid-card championships for the women's division, and Lyra Valkyria is going to compete for the tag team titles while currently holding the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, we would kill AEW if they did something like that. And then, what's Chelsea Green doing at WrestleMania? I just feel like Triple H, you've lost the plot with the John Cena story. It's just this WrestleMania build. I'm still excited about Mania. but it hasn't hit like WrestleMania 40 was hitting last year and WrestleMania 39 was hitting the year before. This just kind of feels really, really lackluster. The men's Intercontinental title match looks like it might be a fatal 4-way with Dom and Finn and Penta and Braun Breaker. And it's just, what are we doing? And nothing for Jacob Fatu. Like, I got to give it to Triple H this week. He was all over the place with his booking, and some of his decisions aren't making sense. And this WrestleMania build, I'm still excited, but it just feels lackluster.
Yeah, well said. At least we know he's not perfect, right? I mean, he's going to do what he does. I just feel like he tried to. When he tried to shock, the problem with shock value is that there's nowhere to go afterwards, right? It's in the moment, and that's why people don't like you don't just switch titles because they're in a hometown. We don't just give it to Drew just to do it. Like, you need to have reasons to do every decision you make in pro wrestling, and I feel like he didn't, and now he's kind of shuffled and lost. He has 3 weeks to get himself back there, but yeah, paying to go to Vegas right now to watch this isn't seeming appeasing to me. I'm like, ugh. I don't know if I even want to go. I'd rather just watch it from home. I don't even know if it's going to be as good as it is making it out to be. All right. My LVD is not a dude or a dudette. It is the WWE Hall of Fame. And yes, that's right. The Hall of Fame is the LVD this week. And the reason why, I'm not even knocking on Triple H. It is what it is. He wants to be inducted. He should have been anyway. If he's inducted himself, so be it. It's not Lex. Lex deserves it from his WCW run and body slamming Yokozuna. No, it's the fact that you went ahead and got another good relationship with Demolition. You put them back on your website and this and that, and then you pick a tag team to an induct and you make it the Natural Disasters. And here's my thing. I have nothing against the Shockmaster. I have nothing against, Earthquake. I mean, it is what it is. They are fantastic guys, good competitors. They won the tag team. Demolition is the most decorated tag team in WWE history. Not of all time, in WWE. They had the longest reigns, the title runs they've had. I mean, they are it. You finally and you're going to sit on them for a year before you do it? What the fudge? You're going to tell me right now, I get when I put Demolition at number 1, people give me shit for it. But if you're making a top 10, you got the Natural Disasters in there? Nah, fam. You give me a top 20, you got the Natural Disasters in there? Nah, fam. No. You give me a top 30, you got but they're in the Hall of Fame before Demolition? I would understand if you still had a bad thing with Demolition, but you don't. You fixed that, and now you're not putting them in yet? Get the fudge out of here. Hall of Fame's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Well said, man. Yeah, well said. And yeah, this was... I didn't know they were done announcing Hall of Fame entrants, but I feel like they're only going to announce one tag team per year, it seems like, and it's the Natural Disasters. And again, no knock on them, but you're right. Demolition needs to be in there. There was all this hoopla about them getting the Legends deals and getting them back on the alumni section, and it looked like they had repaired their relationship. Just for you not to put them in, that feels weird. Yeah.
Boo. Let's move on. Let's end on a high
note. And again,
note.
Another reason why Triple H is LVD. So, because he's making that decision.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Triple H. I'm going to DM you, dude. All right, let's get into it. You're MVD. And on a high note, who do you got?
I'm going Dudette, and I'm going down to NXT. It's got to be Stephanie Vaquer pulling double duty. I almost gave it to Jimmy Uso, too, because he went to 2 different countries on SmackDown and Raw. But I'm gonna give it to Steffi 2 belts in defending her 2 titles on the same night on NXT. Like I said earlier, I like how they're doing it. If this is how they're gonna do it, where various women are stepping up and they're competing, and one of them's for the North American Championship and one of them's for the NXT title, and it doesn't bury the division, and she's not holding the belts hostage, and it's not nobody can beat her, and she's only doing 1 match per show. I like how I like how they went about it this week, and if they keep going this route, then I think we're on the road to something special. But she's fantastic in the ring. She's great on just with everything she's doing, and she's a great ambassador for NXT. So I'm excited to see what they do with her going forward, and I'm excited to see who takes her down, or what Ava does going into Stand and Deliver.
I fully agree. She is the most valuable dudette of the week. It's easy to say. Anyone who's going to defend 2 belts in one night deserves that. Props to her. Good job. And I mean, it just shows AEW scooped her up and she wasn't that, right? And so now being in WWE, she's really doing her damn thing, or in NXT. Proud of her. So yeah. Dudette of the week. All right. That's it. That's our WWE edition. Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoy AEW, tune into our Friday edition where we'll talk all things Collision and Dynamite. Yes, there are 2 pro wrestling organizations, and we cover them both. As always, thank you for watching live, or not live, but tuned in, pre-recorded. We love it. We're getting those views. We appreciate them. If you want to just check me out, I'm at my_wrestling_opinion on all your social medias. And with me, as always, is my dude from North Carolina.
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social platforms as well. Go hit us up on TikTok at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel where we're starting to make some traction and make some progress and get more views and some likes out there. So go follow us there at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. Follow us on Apple and Spotify as well. Go leave us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everyone about your favorite 2 dudes on the internet.
Yes, sir. 2 Dudes Wolfpack. We out.
2 dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the 2 dudes